What's up, Doms and Femmes? It is I, Dominique the Femme, and I am back with another video. In this video, I'm so excited to do because it is Shun's labor and delivery story, or should I say it's her birth story, because you guys just watched her labor and delivery. So this is her birth story, where I'm going to tell you all the details of what happened to get our little guy here. He's actually right here. I'm feeding him as I film this. So first things first, I want to go ahead and inform you guys of a name change on my YouTube and my social media. Is Dominique Freeman here on YouTube. I changed it from Doms and Femmes, even though I still address you guys as Doms and Femmes, but I wanted the name to be Dominique Freeman because I felt like it was more simple. It was just my name and it's easier to find. Instead of having like a username, it's just my name. And that's also what happened on my Instagram and social media. But all of that information will be at the end of the video, so you can find me if you aren't already subscribed to this channel and if you aren't already following me on any of my other social media. Second, I would like to say whoa, hello to all of my new subscribers. Like, whoa, y'all all came from the labor and delivery story. But I would truly appreciate it if you stay subscribed to my channel, and if you aren't subscribed, so go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Our family of Doms and Femmes is growing and I love it so much. So thank you all so much for that. So if you want to hear Shun's birth story, then just continue to watch and let's get on with the I don't have my fingers. Let's get on with the video. Okay guys, so I have notes here to remind me on Shun's phone, to remind me just in case I forgot a little bit. I have my notes. I was taking these notes as things was happening so I could remember to do this story. So this whole labor started June the 26th. And as you guys know, Christian wasn't due until July 22nd. So Shun had a regular doctor's appointment on June 26th, which was a Monday. She went in, nothing was happening. She didn't feel anything or anything. It was just like a regular weekly checkup. So at that checkup, you know, you get checked, your surface is checked, and Shun was already 3 centimeters dilated and 15% effaced. And the doctor was like, she's a good stretchy 3 to 4 centimeters, but she said she was just gonna leave it at 3 because she knew for a fact she was 3 centimeters and not push it to 4. So we was like, oh my God, like this was June 26th. So she was like, oh yeah, you guys, you might have a baby in a couple of days, couple of weeks, who knows, but he's definitely not gonna make it to July 22nd. He grunts so much, y'all. So if y'all hear grunting during this video, it ain't me, okay? I know I'm a big girl and all, but it ain't me. It's the baby. So anyways, after that appointment, we were so excited. We went straight to Walmart because we were like, let's get castor oil. Let's just find spicy food. Like, let's do anything we can to induce labor, like naturally, I guess, like at home. We did the castor oil on Monday afternoon, or like 2:30 or like 2:30 in the afternoon. And for a long time, she didn't feel anything. It wasn't for hours. Of course, she had the crazy bowel movements. If you don't know what castor oil is for, it's to induce labor at home. It's a laxative, so it's going to help you drop them kids off at the pool, if you know what I'm saying. So, you know, it just helps you get regular. So she had that, she had the movements of the bowel, okay? So she had that, and she said, well, the baby, like he was fine at first for the first couple of hours, and then into the night and into the next morning, Christian wasn't moving. It was about 11 to 12 hours that his fetal movements decreased a whole lot. So we went in on that Tuesday, the 27th of June, and we went to go check on the baby because all the doctors say at that stage in your 3rd trimester, when there's decreased fetal movement, you need to be tracking and all that stuff. And so when we got into triage, they were like, she wasn't leaking amniotic fluid or anything like that. And then was obviously when they get the baby hooked up to the monitor, Christian was moving just fine. He was moving, and I was like, oh, okay, we look like liars because he wasn't moving for like 11 to 12 hours at home. But as soon as he got there in public to get hooked up on the monitors, he was like, boom, boom, I'm here. Like, he wasn't moving a lot. So he was like, no, you're fine, you're not in labor. So the triage nurse, she still checked Shun's cervix and everything, and she was like, oh, you're 4 centimeters dilated and you're 70% effaced. We was like, what? That was one day. So we was like, okay, so we are doing something right. Let's, go home. Let's not do no more castor oil because it was scary and stank. So let's not do the castor oil. So let's go like walking. Let's go get in the pool. Let's like exercise in the pool. Let's do the deed, you know what I'm talking about? It's like to induce labor and all that stuff. So we was doing everything. When I tell you everything, if you go on the internet and you go look at natural ways to induce labor, we did it. Like, it was crazy. Why do you make so much noise? Like, you're this big. Calm down. So that all happened Monday and Tuesday. After that, after trying all of the natural remedies to induce labor at home, nothing seemed to be working. Like, nothing was working. Like, just for the rest of the week, she wasn't doing anything. She woke up on Friday morning and the baby had dropped dramatically. Like, her belly was huge on Monday, and then on that same week of Friday, the baby had dropped dramatically. So come that Saturday, we decided to try nipple stimulation to get another home remedy to induce labor. So we tried to do nipple stimulation with her breast pump. I think it was like 15 minutes of pumping, and then we would give herself like a 30-minute break and then another 15 minutes of pumping. We did that for a couple hours, like in the morning. I'm gonna say like 9 to 12. By like 1 p.m. she was having contractions. She was like, okay, this is bearable. This isn't nothing like how you see on the TVs. You're not screaming. She was like, she just knew that they were there, but they weren't crazy. So that was around 1 p.m. and it was like that from 1 to 4. Man, say, come 4 p.m. when Shun, like 4 p.m. on that Saturday, her contractions went from mild to like back to back to back to back. Like, they were every 3 to 4 minutes. And I was like, okay, these are every 3 to 4 minutes. They're lasting 45 to 56 seconds each. So I was like, let me call triage and see if they will want to take her. So the nurse said no. When she's crying and she can't talk to it, then bring her in. Until then, she's fine. Labor at home. So that's what we did. And actually, in hindsight, looking at it, I'm kind of glad we did, because around 6 o'clock, those contractions every 3 to 4 minutes apart, they stopped completely. Like, her having that many contractions in an hour, at around 6 o'clock, she had about 3 contractions every hour. That was it. And then when it came bedtime around like 9 or 10 p.m., she was having no contractions. So I'm kind of glad we didn't go into triage. So come Sunday, July the 2nd, we were doing the same thing. She woke up with no contractions, no pain, no anything. The baby was still dropped. His fetal movement had picked back up. He was still fine. So we was like, okay, well, that obviously was something that happened yesterday, but it wasn't enough because you're not in labor. So we decided to do nipple stimulation again, but we tried to increase it a little bit more. So we did all day, we did 15-minute intervals, like 15 minutes of the suction, but we, instead of giving her 30-minute breaks in between suction, we gave 10 minutes. And then, so that kicked her back. Oh, my son's texting. So we were just like, okay, nothing's happening. We'll just wait until your doctor's appointment on Monday and see what's going on. So nothing happened all day, July the 2nd on Sunday. So come July the 3rd, which you all know is Christian's birthday, it was a Monday. She had an appointment for 8:45 in the morning. Get to her doctor's appointment around 8:45. She was seen at like 9:15. The doctor was like, okay, what's going on? So we tell her everything that was happening, what we did over the weekend. You know, she didn't think Shun was going to make it till July 1st. So, you know, she was surprised to see that Shun was still pregnant on July the 3rd that morning. So she was like, oh, okay, I see you've dropped a tremendous amount. Let me strip your membranes. I'm going to strip your membranes today. So, hi, honey. Oh, hi, honey. So I'm over here like super excited. I'm texting my sister. She's not texting back. I'm super excited because I know membrane strips, like, they send you into labor. The doctor puts her gloves on to go in there and to Shun's cervix or whatever to strip her membranes. And she puts her hand in there and she goes, whoa, you're 6 centimeters dilated. You're in labor, honey. Go to labor and delivery. And Shun laid there and Shun was just like, no. It was so funny. It was so funny because I'm over here and I'm like doing the Harlem Shake and shit. Like, I'm just like, yes, it's time to go. And Shun's over there laying with her legs wide open. She's like, no, not today. So I asked the doctor, I'm like, are you joking? Like, did I just hear you correctly? Did you just say that she's in labor? She's fully 6 centimeters dilated. She's completely thinned out, 100% effaced. I'm like, is this happening today? And she was like, yes, Mrs. Freeman, this is happening today. You're going to labor and delivery. She's going there right now, and I'm going to be over there within the hour to break her water. You guys are going to have a baby. So I was like, yes. So it took Shun a little bit to get it together, and she finally got happy and excited, and she's like, let's call your sister, because the whole pregnancy we were calling my big sister Kiana. Come to find out, the day that my wife was going to give birth, why is it that day? Everyone was in the hospital. My sister, on July 3rd, my oldest sister had to have an emergency surgery, which was scary as hell. So she was in the hospital for that. My twin sister was in the emergency room for, don't get me to lying, I don't know what the hell she had, but I called her and she was like, hello. And I was like, what's wrong with you? And she was like, I'm on the verge of death. I'll call you later. And I was like, damn. So she went to the hospital. No. I lied. My mom was at work. And then after work, she was going to the hospital with my sister. My dad was at the hospital with my older sister because he was going to get her kids. Like, all of my family was nowhere to be found on this day when we planned for weeks for this moment and nobody was there. And I was just like, okay, good. So I took Shun to labor and delivery. I just ran her all. I told her to go check herself in, and I got just like, I already had Giselle's stuff in the car. So I went and I dropped Giselle off in Dallas, went back to the house, and I put more water in the her dog food bowl. I gave her more water, and I had a heart-to-heart with the dog. And I wanted to tell the dog that like her brother was coming. It was like really stupid because I didn't think that she was going to labor, so I didn't eat. So I told myself, while I'm here putting water for the dog, to get myself something to eat. Y'all seen in the birth vlog, I got a big ass bowl of strawberries. Like, I was in my refrigerator, I was like, do I get leftovers? Do I make a sandwich? Do I make a bagel? Do I make an omelet? Do I make a frittata? Like, I didn't know what to do with my life. Like, I kept pulling different things. Like, this is how I knew I was nervous, because I was pulling out cereal, and the next thing I had, like, you know, fucking a carton of eggs. I didn't know what to do with my life, so I just grabbed the little container of strawberries and I dumped them in a Tupperware, and I was like, bye, and I was out. So that's what I did. Then I rushed back to the hospital, and I went to go see my baby, who, not my baby, but my wife's baby, who was already in her birthing. I got there, it was like 11. Shun had already been checked in since like 10:15, I think I got there like 11:30, 11:45. No, about 11:30. So I was just there chilling. We was there chilling, whatever. So the doctor comes in, the nurse comes in, and she's like, okay, the doctor wants to break your water soon. And she was kind of explaining what was going to happen when we break your water. You know, some was asking how it was going to feel, blah, blah, blah. I did like that long wooden skewer thing, and then, you know, they stab it up there. And I was just like, don't watch this, Dominique. Like, you don't want to watch this. And then I did. I watched like an idiot. So like, they broke her water, and the doctor kept saying, oh, your water bag is so thick. And in my head, I kept thinking, how is your water thick? Like, I just didn't know what she meant by that. So she broke Shun's water. And then so she was like, okay, well, you're fine. If you want to walk around, you can walk around. If you want to get on the birthing ball, you can do that. And we were just like, cool. So me and Shun was just chilling. As you guys seen, like, it took about 15 minutes on the birthing ball. She went from nothing to something to uncomfortable, like AF. So she got back into bed after the birthing ball, and the nurse came in, and she was like, oh, my little grunter over here. So the doctor had came in. She was like, I want to start you on just a taste of Pitocin, just to get your contractions stronger and closer together. So we did that. Man, say when Shun got that Pitocin, the contractions went crazy. She was already like crying, as you guys saw in the video. She was crying from it. Then when the Pitocin kicked in, she was just like, oh my god, this is the worst, I can't. So then the nurse came in. She was like, okay honey, I see you're really, you know, you're uncomfortable, whatever. Do you want an epidural? Shun was like, no, I don't want an epidural, I'm fine. So the nurse was like, the anesthesiologist is going to have a surgery. If you want the epidural now, you need to get it now. Like, don't wait, you need to get it now. Shun was adamant. She was like, I'm fine. Like, it hurts like hell, but I'm fine. I don't want the epidural. So she's like, fine. So she left. I say about 15, 20 more minutes of those contractions hitting Shun. Shun was like, give me the epidural. Give me that epidural. Woo, woo. Give me that epidural. My coochie is on a roll. Like, Shun was like, I need the epidural. Go get that woman to give me the epidural. So I went to go find the nurse. I was like, my wife wants the epidural. Can you please go get the epidural? So the nurse came back in the room. She had to go get Shun's permission, of course. So she went to go ask Shun. Shun was like, I want the epidural, but I don't want to get paralyzed. And we were like, what? Why would you get paralyzed? And she was like, these contractions hurt so much, I know I can't stay still, so I do not want the epidural. So the nurse was like, but your wife said you wanted the epidural. So we were going back and forth. I was like, babe, get the epidural if you want the epidural. Shun was like, I want it, but I don't want to be paralyzed. Like, she was going back and forth with herself. So Shun said, I do not want the epidural. Just let me not get it, because I'm just afraid that I'm going to paralyze myself. So she blocked herself out of getting pain relief because of the fear of paralyzing herself, which I thought was hilarious but sad at the same time. Honestly, the whole birth was intense but funny AF. I never thought that I would describe a labor and delivery that way. Shun's like, I was scared and I say it was intense because I never heard my wife scream that way. I never heard her being or seen her be in that much pain, that and it was so quick, you know what I mean? So and then I say it was funny, and she was just like, oh, this hurts, oh shit, somebody find my nose. And we were like, but why, out of all objects, why do we have to find your nose? So the nurse kept telling her, honey, your nose is on your face, breathe through your nose. And Shun was like, no, I can't breathe through my nose because I can't find it. Like, it was so funny. I was like, yo, you have got to calm down. And she was like, I'm not breathing, oh shit, I can't breathe. And it was like, you can't breathe, you are breathing, but just breathe slower, you know what I mean? So calm yourself down, like, you have got to calm down. So she was like, okay, am I breathing? Oh shoot, I'm not breathing. It was so funny but so scary. So now it's like 2:15. The nurse is checking her, and the nurse, I can see on her face, like, she looks concerned. So I'm asking her, I'm like, okay, so what's the progress? It's been like an hour, what's the progress? And she was like, oh, she's there. And I was like, well, what is there? Like, it didn't register to me, like, they're there, like, time to push there. She was like, oh, because she was real calm about it. She's like, oh, she's there. So I was just like, oh, okay, well, you know, still 7 centimeters in my head. That's what I'm thinking. And so, like, she kept her hand in there for a long time, and so she was like, she was talking to Shun, and she was like, tell me when you feel pressure. So, like, every contraction, Shun was like, oh my God, he's there, he's in my butt. And so she was like, oh, okay. So she, like, goes to the computer and put something in the computer and look at the charts, and then she'll come touch her stomach and all this stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, well, must not be nothing going on. So then all of a sudden, literally, she was like, I'm gonna prep the room. And I was like, prep the room for what? Or like, what are you prepping the room for? And she was like, it's time. And I was just like, in my head, I was like, no, it's not. I'm not ready. You're not ready. Shun's not ready. And then at the same time, I was like, I'm so ready. So it was just me and Shun. We didn't have any visitors or any extra people. We had, in her birthday plan, we didn't want an immense amount of students or nurses or people in there. We just wanted the necessary people in the room for Shun, because that's just what she wanted. She just didn't want every Tom, Dick, and Harry up in her tutu, you know what I mean? So it was time to go. You guys seen in the birth vlog, like, I recorded just about everything I could. I cut out a lot of the screaming because Shun screamed a lot. So I cut out a lot of the intense screaming. I got a lot of comments on our birth vlog that the doctor was mean to Shun, but she wasn't. Our doctor is an absolute angel. She was incredibly patient with Shun. Shun was not listening to the nurses or the doctors on how to give birth. And that's Shun in everyday life. Shun is very stubborn. She gonna do what she wanna do. Shun just don't listen. And like, Shun was like on the edge of the bed, like she was crying on the bed. They were like, no, get over to this bed, this side of the bed. Get straight in the bed, get on your back, open your hips. Shun was just like not having it. She was doing it how she wanted to do it. Like, every time she had a contraction, she would ball up and close her legs together. And like, the doctors kept telling her and the nurses, you have to open your legs, like you're giving birth, open your legs. And every contraction, Shun would shut her legs. So that's a lot of those things that I cut out that you guys didn't see. Like, they were being really patient with her, and they were telling her to grab behind her thighs and her knees. Like, grab your legs, pull yourself up, and push. This is how you're gonna push. Shun didn't do that. Like, I was trying to record, and I was trying to lift and do all this stuff, and so I couldn't do it for her. And like I said, we had requested very limited people in the room, so they couldn't do it. Shun just wasn't listening. So in my doctor's defense, she is an awesome doctor. She is not mean whatsoever, but I'm glad she was stern with Shun to get the baby out as quickly as she did. Her pushing part lasted 7 minutes from the first push to baby being out. It was 7 minutes long. The reason why I chose, like, I purposely chose not to look down there, because she was on a birthing ball and I was sitting there helping her rotate and stuff. Every time she would rotate her hips to the front of me, her body would squirt amniotic fluid on my leg and my foot. And I was like, how is your vagina soaking me with amniotic fluid? And I was trying not to be immature about it, but in my mouth I was throwing up. Every time she would like squirt amniotic fluid on me, I kind of wanted to punch her in the face. So I kind of was just like, I already know if I can't handle a little bit of amniotic fluid on my foot, then I cannot watch a human come out of your body. So I chose to not watch it. And this is where it got kind of scary, because like her doctor, like I was talking to her doctor and I was like, is there any damage down there? Like, is she gonna need stitches? And doctor was like, yeah, she's gonna need a stitch or two. Shun wasn't doing, like, she was just laying there. Like, she wasn't saying anything. I was trying to talk to her and I was like, are you okay? She was unresponsive. I kept trying to talk to her and I was looking at the doctor and I was like, hey, like, is she okay? Like, what's going on? Is she okay? And the doctor was like, I don't know. So she kept telling me to talk to her and stuff like that. And then so the doctor was like, let's see. So she took the needle that she was going to numb down there to do the stitches and she stabbed her. Which to you it might sound wrong, but the relationship we have with our doctor, it was fine. So she was like, well, let's see if she's okay. And then so the doctor stabbed her with the needle and Shun was like, so the doctor was like, she's fine. So I was like, oh, okay, well, all right. At that moment, in the moment, I didn't know that she blacked out. But now I know she blacked out from her being in so much pain. She would, like, Shun was screaming even more. Like when she had delivered her placenta, Shun screamed even more for the placenta. And then like when the doctor was doing the stitches, like I was like, can you please give her medicine now? Like, can you give her some type of numbing medicine? The doctor was like, yes, that's what that shot was for, is numbing. She won't feel the stitches. So the doctor did her stitches. She ended up getting 4 stitches, not 2. She got 4 stitches because she, the way Shun gave birth so fast, he came out so fast, so he ripped her. So she got 4 stitches. So they let her do skin to skin. They were trying to let her do the first latch. But what we didn't know at the moment was Shun delivered on the busiest day of the hospital. There were 11 other births. So including Shun, there were 12 births happening at the same time that Shun was doing it. So our nurse and our doctor, they were all super busy. So they said they was going to give her an hour of skin to skin. They was going to come back and take him to the nursery and do what they needed to do. But it ended up being 2 hours. We kept him with us. Shun did skin to skin for a little while, then I did skin to skin, and he was so hungry that Shun wanted to give him breast milk, well, colostrum, but there was nobody to help her because we didn't know how to latch him and all that stuff. So, you know, after 2 hours, he was screaming he was hungry, so we ended up giving him a bottle. So after getting to her postpartum room, you know, I just went out and I went to get her first meal, which she requested. Shun said she wanted fried chicken and dark chocolate, so I went to Popeyes and I went to Walmart to get her like this extra huge dark chocolate Hershey. It was good. The experience, like, it was good. Her labor and delivery story, it wasn't extremely long, which I was very thankful for. We planned every aspect of this baby. And when I say everything, we planned everything. Well, we planned it. It didn't go that way, but we planned it. So his due date was July the 22nd. But we planned to do a scheduled induction on the 17th because we were planning how Shun's work schedule would work with around having the baby, being out on maternity leave, returning to work. So Alexander Freeman, say hi everybody. Look, he has hair. Look at my boy. Look at my baby boy. Him is so little. Look at those baby feet. But this is our baby boy, Christian Alexander Freeman. He is everything, aren't you? Aren't you so sweet, huh? Yeah. Thank you guys for being a part of our journey and sticking through the pregnancy journey with us. And thank you and hello to all of the new subscribers who decided to subscribe to our channel because of this little boy. He is everything to us and more. Yeah, so Shun and I cannot be any more happy. Oh God, Shun wants another baby. I can't do another pregnancy with her. But yeah, you guys, so that is it for Shun's labor and delivery birth story. And if you guys enjoyed this story, then please make sure to give it a big thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and to follow me on any other social media. Remember the name change. And I will see you all in my very next video. Say bye, Christian. This is your first one. Say bye. Mwah.